Good morning, third graders. This is Mrs. Gass. Welcome to our e-learning day. This is part of our writing module. And today, Mrs. Gass is going to be doing a quick little lesson on pre-writing, kind of a review, because I know a lot of this we've talked about throughout the year, but I definitely want to hit it again today just as a quick review, and we're going to focus on the pre-writing aspect of the writing process today when we work on a prompt later on. As you work through the writing module, you will be writing today using Google Docs, and just make sure that you share your document with your teacher just like you always do. There are more instructions on that in the writing module. Today we're going to talk about pre-writing, and I'm going to walk us through a few slides. And in front of you, you see the first slide has just what pre-writing is. Pre-writing, it kind of encompasses a lot of things. So it's like a big umbrella with a lot of little things underneath it, but they're all strategies to help you get started as a writer when you're writing about something. So we're going to talk about 3 today, and I'll show those to you in a second. But what is pre-writing? Just a quick review. It's the first step of the writing process. It helps us get our ideas onto paper, and the whole point of pre-writing is to help us organize our thoughts. Sometimes we don't even know, maybe exactly where we're going to write or what we're going to be writing about. We don't have all of our ideas, but pre-writing can help us get those down, and it's a great way to do that. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, I know what I want to write about. Why do I have to do this? Because if you don't know where you're going or you've never been there before, you need to have some directions or you'll get lost. And that's very, very similar to writing. Pre-writing is, think of it like your map. So once you get some directions down and some ideas and some topics and some details, then you can really take those and organize your essay or your paper or whatever you're writing, or even just a paragraph. 3 different kinds of pre-writing that I'm going to talk about quickly today are brainstorming, clustering, and mapping. And even though maybe you've never heard these words describe them before, or maybe you have, but once you see it, I think you'll be like, oh yeah, I've done that before. Brainstorming is our first one, and it's just a way to capture all of our ideas and thoughts on a piece of paper. Sometimes it looks like a list, and you just want to get down as many things as you can. Here's an example of a brainstorming that you might do before you start writing, or maybe in your writer's notebook. This would be a great place for that. So this is about winter break. So I put the topic here, and I just quickly with bullet points, wrote down some things that came to my mind quickly. I'm just brainstorming. And when I start writing, I don't have to necessarily use all these. These are just some ideas I had in my head. I might use them, I might not, but they will definitely give me some directions as I start writing my paper about my winter break. Our second example is clustering, and that's like a web. And maybe your teachers have described it like that, like a circle in the middle and branches come off of it. It's webbing. So you start with your topic in the middle, and then you draw lines to other circles with subtopics or ideas. And you kind of group your information together, and it helps you organize your thoughts. Here's an example. Now this is a very detailed example with lots of clustering and webbing, but in the middle there's school, and then off of that some things about school: homework, extracurricular activities, lunch, classes, and friends. Those are kind of like 5 big parts of school. And then off of each of these are subtopics, like in my classes: cool teachers, lots of notes, tests and projects, and homework. And then off of this are even more. Over here for homework, helps me to study, too much, don't like it, but then there's even more topics off of that. So again, this is just an example. It would not have to be this detailed, but it could be, depending on what you're writing about and your ideas. Now, do I have to write about every single thing in every single bubble? Absolutely not. But it does give you some help and some guidance as you're starting to write. It would be kind of like your map. Our third one is mapping, and it kind of looks like a cluster or a web. It's very, very similar, and it's another way to organize your ideas. But this time, you organize them by the importance or in an order. I'm going to show you an example here. So for example, and we actually did this back in our persuasive unit, we wrote about school uniforms, but this could be my topic. That's the most important thing. And then off of this are my reasons why I might not want school uniforms. Too expensive, no individuality for students, ugly. And then off of those, I have other ideas. So this is like the most important, but this is just the reason I'm showing you this. It's another way that you could pre-write. It doesn't matter what it looks like necessarily, as long as you're getting ideas down to help you guide your writing. That is the most important part. We want to see you using pre-writing in the writing process. It shows us that you're able to get ideas down, you're able to brainstorm, and you are organizing your thoughts, which is so important, especially when we start writing those 5-paragraph essays. We need to organize our thoughts. So just a quick review and recap for today. We are not worrying about spelling and grammar or punctuation when we're pre-writing. We're just getting ideas down. So if you can't spell the word, don't let that stop you from getting that down. Just sound it out, stretch it out, and move on. We can figure that out during the editing and revising part of the writing process, but we're not going to worry about that right now. And we want you to write as much as you can think of, and then choose what you use after your pre-write. But we always want to pre-write, okay? So if you have any questions about this, you can inbox me or your teacher, but the whole point is we just want you to make sure that you're thinking about this. This is sometimes Mrs. Gass thinks that this gets overlooked a little bit in the writing process. We kind of just skip to the next part instead of pre-writing. We just want to start writing, and that's can be okay sometimes, but especially next week when we're doing those writing prompts for ISTEP, we want to make sure that we are not skipping anything. We're answering all the different parts of the prompt. And so I really feel that we need to focus on pre-writing today to help us just kind of review all the different things that are important. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you have a great e-learning day. Keep working through the module. See you tomorrow.